This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
All right, let's get back in here on Diamond Conversations, being brought to you today here, of course, on the Place to Be Nation podcasting network. If you didn't know by now, my name is Ian, and every single week we are joined here on the airwaves by somebody having to do with the world of professional baseball. And this week we get about as unique as we can get as we welcome in former Major League pitcher, the one and only Carter Capps, joining us today. Carter, how's everything going with you?
It's great. I appreciate you guys having me on, and I think unique is probably a pretty good descriptor. So,
no, I love it. I mean, if that's like, I guess the first thing I would think of when I think of you, but we'll get to that in a second. But how's everything going for you out there, man? I know you're kind of rocking and rolling, doing your thing, and Doug was telling me right before we got rolling that there was a video that he saw of you. But how's everything going with you these days?
Yeah, doing good. Working at Driveline right now, just kind of coaching and everything, and really liking getting into that aspect of it and seeing the data side that I wasn't as familiar with when I was playing, and just learning a lot. So it's pretty exciting. Pretty cool area to be for baseball leading edge, I guess.
Yeah, can't be any bigger than Streamline.
So Carter, I gotta ask, this is Doug here. A video, was on Twitter the other day of you hitting 97 on a plyo ball wall. Is that you just messing around, or are you, working it back up?
I don't know. A little bit of both. I just like messing around the other day, but I don't know. I throw every now and then just see how it feels. And I'd like to get back up to 100 or something. So we'll see where that goes.
No, absolutely. Now talk about Driveline. For those people that might not know about it, for some, maybe some of the older school fans that we have on the show, talk about Driveline, what they offer, and why you're associated with them.
So why I'm associated with them is because they are best at what I'm worst at, or what I was worst at when I started. And that's just like understanding the data side and biomechanics, and just like a full grasp of why guys do the things they do, right? Like, for example, I was talking to an athlete today, and he's not nearly as bad as I do, but he gets really onto the ball of his foot as he's pushing off the rubber, and it just leads into this early hip extension, which was my issue. So basically just talking about a little bit more of a heel connection and understanding that that's not how you really need to apply ground force and stuff like that, is kind of the biomechanics side. But yeah, it's just been really interesting to get into the coaching side, and it's definitely a lot of work, but I really enjoy it.
Yeah, and the reason, like I said, I brought up the old school fans, because that is so not what the old school is, and I think a lot of fans are trying to catch up, and really get on board with where the game is going and how the game has evolved over the last couple of years. Did you think the game would evolve this much with the biomechanics and the analytics and all this stuff? Do you think this is where the game was headed when you were coming up?
I got to catch the tail end of it, right? I threw hard, but I didn't know why I threw hard, and the biomechanics stuff really hits home for me, just making sense of, oh wow, I did this really well. And this is why it translated to velocity, or when I was struggling, I did this poorly. And then now I see another athlete struggling with that. It's oh yeah, I see why, that's not as powerful position to leverage the baseball. Right. So that's kind of interesting. And then the actual, I think the player development side has always kind of leaned towards data analytics, right? Because that's where the last frontier of cheap players is, right? If you can find a guy that does something really well, that's undervalued, it's an easy way to go, turn a profit, kind of.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And, when you were coming up, when you made your debut in 2012, I guess you really could kind of say that might have been the tail end of the old era. And as we saw front offices kind of change the way they looked at players, and like you said, the player development, it's fascinating to see just how fancy things are getting these days. And it seems like every day there's some new tool, or there's some new, launching product or something that's helping people change their game. But for you, you were always throwing hard. So you can't not teach throwing hard. How do you kind of work with somebody who throws hard and work in all these other things that you've come to learn by being a part of Driveline?
Yeah. So you're saying if a guy does throw hard, how do I work with him?
Yeah, exactly. How do you kind of pair the two? Because he's still going to have his, his bare, raw strength and his raw stuff. How do you kind of pair with what you do?
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of different ways to do that, right? Like some guys throw really hard, but maybe the movement profile of the pitch isn't where it needs to be, or the spin rate is really low, or it could just be like simple spin direction, right? So like how we get movement is, your spin rate, your spin efficiency, and then the spin direction that is spinning is gonna like be this formula to give you like movement potential, right? So like if a guy like had a perfect, 6 o'clock curveball, which nobody does, and threw it 100% spin efficiency, like he's going to get a lot of depth on the pitch, really, regardless of his spin rate. Whereas if a guy, kind of is in that slurvy range where the ball is like spinning to like towards 730, that's more sweeping across, right? So you're not going to get the depth, and you're going to kind of be in that limbo of, horizontal movement and vertical movement, and you're not going to get like the big, like 12-6 curveball, right? So there's
Right.
different ways to like leverage your stuff. I did a tweet on I don't really know how to say his name, to be honest, Karnacek, and he just does a really good job of that. Like he has this really elite, fastball that has all this vertical break, right? So he spins it at a really high direction towards like 1230. Has a pretty good spin rate, pretty high spin efficiency. So he just gets these crazy spin rate numbers, vertical break numbers that makes him elite at that category. And then so the old school like would be like, oh, that fastball really like rode through the zone. But like with the new school, it's like that fastball had vertical break, and it has like a element where it doesn't drop as much as other pitches thrown at that same velocity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I
that,
mean,
that would kind of be like the two sides of the same coin, right? Just a different way to say it. But like what pairs really well with his that he throws is his curveball, right? Like his curveball
right.
is pretty much straight down. So he gets away with this like these crazy like whiff numbers and stuff because like he's just expanding the zone like vertically instead of horizontally. It's like so he's just pitching up and down and moving eye levels, and he just does a really good job of it because his secondary matches so well with his fastball. Whereas if a guy had a fastball that had more like horizontal break, like he'd probably be better off with a slider, right? It would give him more separation horizontally instead of that vertical separation.
Now, how's the athlete itself like taking to having to learn all this stuff? I mean, they obviously they're there for a reason, so they want to educate themselves on how to do things as perfect as possible. But like, how does an athlete take all that in and kind of manage what they want to do with the ball, with all the stuff that they know the ball's about to do? How do you kind of teach that to them?
Yeah, and that's like where the actual coaching part is like really involved. Like I have to understand if he's gonna like grasp what I'm saying, or if I'm just gonna throw a bunch of stuff at him and it's gonna overwhelm him. So if I have a guy that like has a pretty good grasp on it, like I'll get pretty technical pretty quick. But if not, like I'm really gonna like do like a basic like 101 course and like why the ball is moving the way it is, and I think that's just kind of knowing your athlete and understanding that everybody's not going to grasp what you're saying the same way.
So, Carter, speaking about knowing your athlete, talk about knowing yourself a little bit. You mentioned before about, being a little bit unfamiliar with some of the stuff when you were playing. So take us back to 2011 and the Clinton Lumber Kings in the Midwest League. What's something that you're, teaching guys now, or that's part of your training regimen now that you wish you had access to back then?
So we use Rapsodo in gym a lot, and I really like it. Anytime you're throwing like 80% effort or higher, like it does a pretty good job of telling you, what the ball is doing, and it's kind of like a good like indicator of what's happening downrange, right? Because before it was just me getting feedback from my catcher and like seeing how uncomfortable the batter was or wasn't with the like offering. So I think that like, and it's instant. It's like instant feedback, and I think that I would definitely, if I was a program, would definitely lean towards getting one of those. It's just going to pay for itself, really. And then as far as like mechanics, like I just see, like I said, why I threw it hard. Like I have a ton of scap retraction. I have a really good lead leg. And that was why I was able to get the velocity I was. But like at the time, I had no idea like why I threw hard. I just picked it up and threw hard. But like, there's a reason.
Yeah, and obviously, you throw hard, but that was the thing that identified you the most, and your contribution, really, that everybody remembers from baseball was your unique style. But you weren't originally a pitcher; you were a catcher. So, did you learn how to did you learn this later into your days? Did you pitch before you were catching? Like, where did you kind of pick up your pitching style?
Yeah, so the mechanics that I'm famous for, I didn't always throw like that, even in the big leagues. I threw more traditionally when I was with Seattle. Then I had some injuries and stuff that kind of led me to that big hitch and trying to buy time for my arm, which was really inefficient. But yeah, so I started catching. Well, I was caught my whole life, and I started pitching my second year of college.
Mm-hmm.
I went to college kind of as a two-way guy. And they were just going to see which one stuck. And I had always had a strong arm behind the plate, so I think they were kind of hoping, if the catching didn't work out, I could be a pitcher. And yeah, so I was basically the backup catcher, and just kind of just there. And they just started working on me with pitching, and it really took very quickly. And I just saw huge success with it. So I redshirted my first year, and was the guy, I played in Division II, so we played 2 games Saturday, 1 game Sunday. So I would throw to our guys Friday in an inter squad to get them ready for the actual game. But that was kind of where I developed pitching, to be honest.
Did you miss catching? Did you miss getting behind the dish and calling the signs, or do you prefer throwing to the catcher now?
I like the I don't know. It's almost when you have the catching gear on, you kind of put the mask on, and you're kind of like a superhero, right? You kind of have it was the same kind of thought process as football for me. It just seemed like you were invincible kind of, and I do miss that, and I really miss the game calling and stuff aspect too. But yeah, I definitely was much better suited for pitching.
About the offensive career of Carter Capps, did you miss having to have the bat? Is that something that was part of your game?
Well, as a career 500 major league hitter, I think I held my own. Yeah, no, I definitely don't miss having to go back to the dugout.
Carter, I wanted to ask you about that your one major league hit, June 13th, 2015. You struck out Chris Bryant, Dexter Fowler, and Junior Lake before you took the bat that day. Walk us through that game and what was different about that and how that was for you.
So you're talking about the game of my hit?
Yes.
So that one was really interesting because I think that was extra innings, I believe. It was extra innings because we had this brutal losing streak, and I think I was the last man out of the pen. And I ended up pitching 3 1/3 that day, which was my longest outing. And yeah, I was shocked when I got a hit. I wasn't expecting to get an at bat, much less a hit. So I think I got it off Edwin Jackson, who I actually later played with. But
it was Edwin Jackson. When was the last time that you had swung the bat professionally at that point?
So the last year I would have hit would have been in 2009. Yeah, so that would have been 6 years. Yeah.
Hey, sometimes you never forget. Where's the ball? That's what we always ask. If you have the first hit, where's the ball?
Oh yeah, it's in my weight room at the house.
Perfect. That's what I love finding out.
And then I used Justin Bohr's bat, and he was nice enough to let me take the bat too. So I have the bat and the ball.
You have the bat and the ball. Yeah, no, that's great. That's my favorite part of those stories is where it always ends up. But yeah, just quickly back to the pitching style, though. I mean, the fascinating part about it was the hullabaloo that came with it, and the fact they had to investigate to decide whether or not it was legal. Now, when you were just coming in and debuting, did you think anything of it, or did you know there would be some sort of eyes on it from other managers or other people kind of calling attention to it to the umpires?
Yeah, so like I said, when I debuted, I did not throw like that. That was later in my career.
Right. Yes. Exactly. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I hear rumblings, obviously, always from the opposing team. But yeah, I had no idea that it was gonna go viral or whatever and lead to a rule change and all that. So yeah, I was definitely I guess a little bit oblivious to it at the time. But yeah.
Was there one instance that got you like annoyed about the questions continuing? Was it something that you felt would always kind of carry with you, or did you just kind of go with it that you were part of the game with how you were so unique as compared to maybe the other, typical throwing relievers?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely like kind of a joking point for a lot of guys. I felt like I would see, the other teams go out. We play catch before batting practice, and you always see the other relievers over there like they'll yell at you, hey, like, is this it? Or like, and they'll try and do it or something. They'll like basically fall down. But yeah, no, it definitely kind of created this like a little bit of persona around me, I guess, that I was not ready for.
That's the beauty of baseball, right? When you have something unique that everybody remembers, that's what it's all about. That's something you always be able to carry with you.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like even if people don't know like my name or something, like when they come in gym, if they like see me throw, like they know who I am like right away just by the mechanics, whether they like know my name or know who I am or not.
Now, you haven't any of your guys ask if you could teach them yet, have you?
Yeah, no, I won't. I refuse to teach anybody. I would never teach anybody illegal mechanics. So,
not even for fun on the side, just
yeah.
No, and it's great. I mean, like I love your story and how there's something so unique, and what you're doing now is just as unique. But before we get into the wrap up, we'll talk about Driveline again. This is my favorite part of when Doug steps in and he hits you with some Carter Cap stats and some trivia. And we kind of test your knowledge here to see what you may know about yourself. So, Doug, why don't you step in here and shoot off some of your numbers?
Carter, so I have a feeling that you might know the answer to this one, but there's not a lot of people that have played Major League Baseball that could say that the person that you have played or that had the most at-bats against you was the person that had the most at-bats against you. Do you know off the top of your head who that was?
I have a feeling. I faced him a lot early in my career. Is that accurate, or do you know that? I don't know.
Say again?
I feel like it's a guy that I faced early in my career. I feel like it might
someone
be.
you faced early in your career.
Mike Trout.
3 times. It is Mike Trout. You struck him out 3 times, though.
Yeah, I faced him a ton when I was with Seattle, and he obviously still with the Angels.
He's got 11 plate appearances and 8 at-bats. Can you talk about going after Mike Trout, especially when he's first coming up?
No, definitely. Like he had this like crazy buzz about him, and like I said, I faced him a lot early in his career, and he's just like a very, very well balanced hitter. Like, some guys you can tell, oh, he's way out front, or he has slider bat speed, or he's just hunting heaters. He can't handle like anything with spin, and he's just very well rounded. Like, and just how well he hits the low ball, really. Like, cause like as a pitcher, like I go up, but I'm not like trying to live up in the zone usually. And I've been coached, my whole life, down and away, and he just like he hits that pitch so well. It's just amazing how quick his hands are, really.
So how'd you get him out?
Curveballs, or at the time I threw knuckle curve. And then I would like bust him in, like kind of move his feet a little bit, make him uncomfortable, and then like if I had it in the tank that day, would give him some velo.
There you go. So now there's another person on the other side of the spectrum. There is one major leaguer who went 4 for 4 off you. The highest batting average someone has off you with the most at bats. Do you know who I'm talking about?
4 for 4? No, not really.
He's playing overseas right now.
Well, I guess it's a good thing I don't remember him. But no, who is it?
Adam Jones went 4 for 4 up you.
Wow. If you'd have gave me his name in a list, yeah, I probably could have got it. Yeah, he definitely. Once again, I faced him early. Yeah, but yeah, no, he hit me really well. It just seemed like he saw it really well out of my hand.
Now on the other side of this is the positive end of the spectrum. You had 6 at bats against this batter. You struck him out 5 times, the most you struck anybody.
I know who you're talking about.
I'm talking about pitching this person.
Reynolds.
Not Reynolds.
Not Mark Reynolds? Oh, I thought for sure it was Mark Reynolds.
He's a catcher.
He's a what?
He's a catcher.
Oh. It wasn't Weeders, was it?
Wasn't Weeders. Give up?
Yeah.
Chris Iannetta.
Oh, really? I
He's
I
0
wouldn't have got
with
that one.
5 Ks for caps.
Oh wow, yeah.
But how does that
Yeah,
how does that feel like when you do pitch against someone who, whether you know that you've had their number before or you feel it, are you testing stuff out? Does it depend on the situation? What are you doing at that point?
Yeah, so if I have like a little bit of a I guess history with the guy, it definitely changes it a little bit. Because when I face a new guy, I'm definitely like gauging kind of aggressiveness, like how well does he see stuff. Like I'm kind of because like we have the scouting report, right? But it's like he does this well against sliders from right-handed hitters or right-handed pitchers. He does this against fastball offerings that are down and away from right-handed pitchers. But like nobody else has the exact stuff I have. So like these are just averages. So you still in game, you still have to see how the batters are reacting to it. So yeah, if it's a guy that I faced a couple times, I remember like basically based off of stance, right? So like I might not know the guy's name, but if he gets up there and like I see him standing in the box, like I'll remember the previous at bat. Yeah, so like for example, like I faced Carlos Cargo with the Rockies. I faced him and he like took me out on a like in course field on like a 0-2 curveball that I got in a pretty good spot, but it was just enough a height that he could kind of get under it and just lift it out. So like I remember that, and like the next time I faced him, like he got like I think I gave him a curveball early, and then just veloed him to death after that, and that was kind of like a point for me that was like, okay, yeah, he's looking for something he can drive, and he can't see my fastball very well, so I'm gonna like capitalize on that. Like I said, for Trout, it was like for whatever reason at the time I was throwing pretty far across my body, so like it kind of started behind him my fastball, and he seemed like he really didn't like that, so I definitely pounded him in, and then as soon as I got an opportunity to put him away with the curveball, I would try and do that. Or elevate a fastball or something. Just keep it. Basically, I didn't want to like end up like in that lower half of the zone that he seemed to hit so well.
I also want to add, before we move on, that Howie Kendrick, the hero of the World Series last year, is 0 for 8 with 3 strikeouts against Padres.
Oh wow, yeah, no, he's definitely really tricky because he goes the other way so well. I remember like just he like frustrating me. I must have done well against him, but like I said, they were not like quick at bats. I didn't feel like he definitely like just it seemed like he was hitting the ball out of the catcher's mitt. Like he would hit it so late and like just spoil pitches. He was definitely a tough hitter.
So much has been said about your delivery at the time, but did you feel like that was ever a distraction for the hitter? That was something that they had tough picking up on?
I would say so. Like you're talking about the actual like just the delivery itself, or like the extension that I get, or what are you talking about?
I think he was talking about just with the extension.
Yeah. So like obviously the ball is spending less time in the air because I'm throwing hard and like I had this crazy like extension. So yeah, it was definitely that I think was harder to hit. But as far as like the actual like whether my mechanics were illegal or not, I definitely think that also helped too. It was just kind of frustrating for them. Like it seemed like they would like go back and like complain to the other hitters, kind of that the at bat shouldn't have counted or something. So it was almost like they were up there and they didn't think it was a fair bat anyway. So that I feel like that actually played to my favor a little bit as well.
Excellent. And then last one for me before we move over to Ian. Can you talk a little bit about your 2012 minor league season? You had a hell of a year over for the Jackson Generals. What kind of changed, from your first year in the minor league system over to your second when you really excelled?
Yeah. So for me, in college, I never really had a secondary pitch, right? I was just like strictly a fastball guy, moved around, and then kind of flipped, a sloppy secondary in there just for show. But I really didn't have like any like developed like secondary, and it really like it made me a one pitch pitcher for a long time. And then I remember I was in AA with James Paxton, and he like showed me like this knuckle curve. And I started playing around with it during batting practice, and like I took it in the game right away because like I had no secondary. Like there was literally nothing I could do to mess up my secondary that would be worse than this one I had just played catch with. So I just took it in the game right away, and it just seemed like I had kind of a feel for it. and I could kind of throw it around the zone. And then that's all I needed, right? Like, 'cause my fastball was so good, I just needed something to like protect it a little bit, and it gave me that. And then that's when I kind of really took off. I feel like I just had another option to get guys out, and it just made more room for my fastball to work.
Awesome. No, that's great. What an insight to the methodology of a pitcher like yourself. But that's great. If you can frustrate the hitter, haven't you already kind of done your job right there? If you can send them back to the bench frustrated, go tell the others that this isn't going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what my like mentality was, right? Like, I wanted like to get you out this at bat, but I wanted to like get you out future at bats. Like, you it just had an uncomfortable at bat. Like, it was not a pleasant time, and you're like just like I wanted to be uncomfortable, and you like to resent every at bat you had against me. It was kind of my thought, and it was like, if I strike you out, like, it's just a bonus, But
yeah. Hey, we'll have Howie Kendrick on. We'll find out what he's got to say about that 0 for 8.
Yeah.
If it was a hard 0 for 8 or not. So, all right, well, we're going to get into the wrap-up here. We, of course, have been talking to Carter Capps here on Diamond Conversations, a current coach at Driveline Baseball. So, Carter, before we say goodbye, please share with the listeners of Diamond Conversations where they can find anything else going on with you, as well as a little bit more about Driveline and the coaching that you're doing, and doing a great job with teaching the next generation.
So Driveline puts out a ton of like free information on their channel of it's like driveline.com, drivelinebaseball.com. They just have a ton of information. They also have like some paid certifications, but they really do a good job of just getting information out there. Like, if you're like are hungry to learn, I think it's a great place to start. And I try to put a bunch of like free like player breakdowns and stuff out there on my Twitter, and like I'll do some biomechanics overviews as well, and that's just at Carter Capps on Twitter. And and I just think it's a really good program. Like I said, they are trying to educate people, like the masses, as well as like provide some very detailed stuff for specific players. So I think it's probably going to be a name for a long time.
Absolutely. And it's drivelinebaseball.com if people want to get a really good look at, blogs and videos and stuff that if you don't understand it, again, that's why I want to stress to the old school listener, if you don't understand it, this is a great way to educate yourself on what's coming. We can't say it enough. It's here and it's coming with a vengeance. So we'll wrap up here today. Thank you again, Carter, for coming on. This is Diamond Conversations. If you want to follow me, it's at Chad EMB on Twitter. For the statistician, producer extraordinaire, Doug Barclay, it's at Doug Barclay 17. And for Carter and Doug, this is Ian, and I will catch you next time.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Place to Be Nations, JT Rosero and Chad Campbell here. We want to let you know that we have over 24 podcasts available on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and PlaceToBeNation.com. We now offer them to you on 2 great feeds. On the Place to Be Nation Wrestling feed, we dive into topics running the gamut from today's WWE to the glory days of yesteryear and the ins and outs of the territory days. In addition to our full-length shows, we also deliver to you special pod blasts on topics old and new.
The Place to Be Nation Pop feed is a veritable treasure trove of great content. Offer tremendous shows covering the land of movies, television, life, comics, and sports, brought to you by the most knowledgeable and insightful folks in the podcast world.
You can find all these great shows, plus archives of our past podcasts from over the past 8 years as well by subscribing to both feeds on iTunes. And while you're there, be sure to rate and leave feedback as well. All of these shows, plus others, available on PlaceToBeNation.com, where we cover pro wrestling, sports, movies, comics, plus in-depth search projects, and much more. Be sure to support our site by using www.PlaceToBeNation.com/Amazon when doing your online shopping. And we want to thank our friends at Boneheads, Wing Bar, ProWrestlingOnly.com, and thehistoryofwrestling.com as well. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. PlaceToBeNation.com, the only place to be in your pop